What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's having a great day. I'm excited to make this video here because this is really truly the first modification for our MK8 GTI. We've done a few things. If you watched my last couple videos here since getting the car, we did a full ceramic coating on the car, we did front end PPF, but no real performance modifications or kind of, you know, mods to the outside, the look, anything really like that. And it's been killing me. So we are finally getting into that point of doing some really cool modifications on the car. And this first one is something that I think a lot of people start off with when they start modifying their car. It's one of the first modifications a lot of people do, and that is an intake system. So this is the intake, the factory intake system on the MK8 GTI. You have your air box here, you have your air inlet tube, which goes to the turbo inlet down there, which connects to the turbocharger. And then they have this little front box here, which actually takes cold air when you're driving. It forces it through here and into the box. So it's actually a really nice setup for a stock intake. They've really come a long way with these intake systems. However, it doesn't give much sound. And if you have a turbocharged car, I mean GTI, anything really, Golf R, whatever, a lot of people, including myself, want to hear that turbocharger, want that intake sound, and that's just something you don't get from the stock box. So I've decided to go with an intake system that I'm pretty familiar with. I'm not familiar with this exact one, however, I'm familiar with the company as I've had a lot of their parts on a previous Golf GTI build of mine, and that is the APR modular intake system. So let me show it to you on the bench, and then we'll get to ripping out the stock unit and installing this aftermarket one. So here we go, guys. We got the APR intake system on the bench here today. This is what we're going to be putting into the GTI, which I said this is a modular intake system, and the reason why I said that is it comes as a completely open intake, right? You got your filter, which will go obviously in there, your inlet or your intake tube here, and then you have the little turbo inlet adapter to run this larger piping, but there's no cover on the box. So APR actually gives you the option of running this completely open like this, or picking up a cover to seal this off completely. And if you want to seal it off completely, you have access to a carbon fiber unit, a straight up plastic OEM style cover, or a forged carbon fiber unit as well. So tons of options when we decide to do that. We're heading into fall and winter right now, so here in Georgia, I'm not super worried about the temps, the inlet temps right now. So we're gonna be running this as an open intake on the GTI. However, when we get to spring and summer, we are definitely gonna need to put the cover on here to keep those inlet temperatures down as it gets super hot around here. So with all that being said, let's get into the installation process. First up, obviously removal of the stock unit, and then we'll install this one. But guys, I just wanna say real quick, I am super excited. I know we haven't got to a lot of mods yet on the GTI, but that ends with today's video. We have a bunch of boxes sitting over here for a future video and a couple sitting inside the house. We have a lot of plans for this little car here. So guys, if you're interested in the MK8 GTI build, hit the subscribe button down below and hit the like button. That'll help push the video to other viewers. All right, let's get straight into it. All right, guys, so pretty easy process, honestly, if you're doing this kind of install for the first time, like I am. So there's two bolts here. There's one over here, one over here, and those are the first two that we're gonna start taking out. And the nice part about this intake installation is that there's really minimal tools required to do this job. I mean, you got some T25s here, that's what these two are, T25s, and then you got a clamp here, and I believe a T30 down there that we'll have to remove. But other than that, I mean, it's just, you know, popping clips out, and this whole airbox is just held in with grommets, so it's really pretty easy. So the next step, we got this coolant hose that runs on the top part of the air intake here, the stock factory one. So we got to loosen that up. And then we also have the breather connection on this side. Push those two tabs in, and that comes right out of there. So pretty easy. We'll just push that off to the side for now. Next thing we got to do is just get this clamp to loosen up so we can kind of pull this tube off just like that, and then we can let that go. Cool, very easy. And then this entire box, like I said, is just held in with grommets. So you're really just gonna reach under the box and then kind of shimmy it around and pull it this way. So let's try to do that now. There we go. Now that that is loose, we should be able to just rock this whole thing out of here. Yep, just like that. One other quick thing though, is that you're gonna want to just pull off this little breather hose here that goes to the front of the box. This literally just pops off, so super easy. Okay, so now that the big box is out, this should now just kind of pop out of here, just like that. And you got another little one on this side, so you might wanna make sure there's not a lot of force on that, but this just, I mean, comes right out super easy. And that's just the second part of the box, so we'll move that off to the side. Yeah, this is pretty easy, guys. So if this is one of your first modifications, if you're new to modifying cars, this is a great one to start with. I mean, just straight out of the gate here. I think what might be easier, guys, is just taking the cover off here as well. There we go. Not the prettiest looking engine under there. Thankfully, we did get the cover with ours. Just to give you guys a little bit of a better look here, the little screw I'm talking about is right in here. So right there is what you're gonna wanna take out. That is a T30. And I don't think we're actually gonna have to loosen up this clamp. You can see the clamp right here that we'd have to get to, which would be a little tight. And I don't think we'll actually have to mess with that. When we loosen this bolt up and take that out, this whole assembly will turn and pull out. So I think we'll be good, but if not, I'll come back and show you. Ooh, a little hot in there still. Just remember, it is an engine and it will be hot if you've recently driven it. So I seem to have forgot that. The best part is when you drop these behind the engine, that's usually the most fun you can have on something like this. There we go. It was actually retained with a little seal, so that's cool. Now that we have that little screw out, we should be able to turn this whole assembly. Should be able to just pull it right out, just like that. Now we can get on to the fun part and actually start installing the APR unit. All right, now we got our new turbo inlet, the APR one here, and you can see it has these kind of grooves and recesses in here, so it goes on kind of like this and then turns and slots into place. So we're gonna see if we can get it here. Let's see, it should go in at an angle like this. Just slots in like this, and then you'll turn it, and you'll see this one kind of bottom out here. So we are installed. Now we gotta put that T30 back in, and then we can start routing the rest of the intake. All right, real quick, before we put the new inlet tube on there, I want to make sure I call this out. So APR includes this new little breather hose here that you have to put underneath the intake tube. So make sure you just press this on before you install this. It's gonna make it a lot easier to do outside of the car than inside. So that little piece of information. Then we have a clamp that's gonna go on this side, and then we're gonna feed it in and tighten the clamp up. It's a little 7mm that you're gonna need for that one. All right, so I got the clamp on there. It's just kind of snugged up. I'm gonna see if I can get it on the intake tube like this, or if I'll have to loosen it up a little bit. All right, one little tip, make sure you have this clamp in here all the way loosened up, because it's gonna need to expand as far as possible. So little tech tip right there. Okay, now we're onto the big box, the moment we've all been waiting for. Well, I've been waiting for. I'm gonna put that up like that. Be a little tight fit. There you go. Well, guys, we're looking pretty good here. The only thing left to do is obviously put the filter in, and then we're gonna have our, T25s here. They gotta go in, and then I gotta tighten down all these hose clamps. Is gonna be those 3, and then the intake is done. So let me do that real quick, and then I think it's time to see how this thing is gonna sound. So let me get to that, I'll be right back. That kind of sounded like a Dr. Fielding, and we'll be right back after this. All right, all right. Then the icing on the cake. Cool. Just like that, guys, we are done. Ha, just kidding. You thought we were done. We actually missed a step, and I missed a step on purpose, right? Yeah, we're actually missing the breather filter. We gotta still install that, guys, otherwise that would have been kind of a problem. So what is that breather filter? That is this guy here. So this one is a separate part that APR does not include in this kit. You have to purchase it separately, which I think is kind of a bummer. I think they should include this with this entire kit just because you need it anyway. So I'll put the part number for this in the video description as well, but all this thing has got to do is clip onto the little breather hose here, and then we'll use a zip tie to just hold it in place. So pretty simple, but we would have got some codes, I'm sure, if we did not install this, and we don't want that. So let me do that quick, and then it's time to get some sound clips of this new intake because that's what I'm excited for. All right, so we're just gonna, I don't know if you'll even be able to really see this. It's kind of tough to show, but this thing is held in place with this factory clip pretty nicely, to be honest. So I'm gonna put an included zip tie around it, but you know, part of me says like it's not really needed. So we'll just go around the filter. Oh, clipping it with probably the dullest snips I think I have. There we go, it still worked. All right guys, we're behind the wheel now. I've let the idle kind of calm down a little bit here, so now let's give it a few revs and we'll see how it sounds. I think it's gonna be a lot louder than what the factory was. Let's give it a listen. We'll put the mic somewhere over here. All right, mic up against the window. Let's see how it sounds. We're gonna get straight on this road here and we'll just hit it. We'll go full throttle here and see what you guys can hear. Hopefully it's all right. So here we go. I'm not sure if you guys could hear that with the wind noise or not. Tough one, but you can definitely hear it sucking in air. You hear the blow-off valve sound, which is just the diverter valve. But man, does it add quite a bit of character. You finally get some actual induction sound out of this thing, and that is awesome. So pretty cool. Let's, you know what? We got to get you some sound clips from the outside. Let me do that too. Well guys, that is going to be a wrap on the APR intake installation on my MK8 GTI. Overall guys, I'm pretty impressed. For, you know, 300 bucks new, I got this thing off Marketplace used, so I mean definitely check out, you know, Marketplace or other forms of buying used parts. You know, if you can get a good deal on them, go for it that way. But Man, as a first modification to add some extra intake sound, it's awesome. I can't wait to add the carbon fiber. I think that's the route I'm gonna go, the carbon fiber cover on here when we get to the spring months. That way we keep those inlet temperatures down. But overall, guys, it sounds good, it looks good under the hood, and I'm happy with it. Very easy installation, you know, nothing really to complain about as of yet. As far as the sound goes, huge change, very dramatic change in the induction noise, the blow-off valve sound, which is the diverter valve from the factory. It sounds good, it looks good, and I'm happy with it. So I hope this install video kind of helped you guys out. If you guys, you know, have a MK8 GTI, I'm curious, what intake setup did you guys go with? Do you guys like the APR unit? And overall, how are you guys liking your cars? You know, I've had this one for a few months now. I'm loving it, and I'd love to hear more from you guys in the comments section. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day, and we will catch you in the next video. Bye.